Welcome, everyone, to this in-depth 2-volume video tutorial. Today, we're going to take you on a journey through the entire process of setting up a web server on AlmaLinux 9.2, and the best part is, you can do it all without ever leaving your chair. Our professional setup involves using a VirtualBox virtual machine running on the Windows 11 operating system. We've streamlined the installation process to make it as convenient as possible for you, so you can follow along with ease. Whether you're a seasoned IT professional or someone just starting out on their web hosting journey, this tutorial is designed to provide you with a comprehensive guide to get your web server up and running smoothly. So, grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable in your chair, and let's dive into the world of AlmaLinux web hosting. In Volume 1, we'll tackle the installation and setup of AlmaLinux 9.2 as a virtual machine. We'll guide you through every step, from configuring the OS to using VNC for GUI access during installation. We'll even address some common challenges you might face along the way. Then, in Volume 2, we'll shift our focus to configuring AlmaLinux 9.2 as a fully functional web server. We'll install the necessary software, set up secure remote access, and fine-tune the server for optimal performance. So, whether you're setting up a web server for personal projects or professional use, we've got you covered. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have the knowledge and confidence to create a fully secured web server that's ready to host your website. So, let's get started with this exciting journey, all from the comfort of your chair. Let's begin reconfiguring our virtual machine. We'll need to set up SSH port forwarding along with VNC. Now, for SSH, we're going to forward port number 22 to port 63022. This means that using these two ports, you can both access the virtual machine graphically and use SSH for remote operation without directly interacting with the machine. With SSH tunneling in place, you now have the capability to operate your virtual machine from anywhere in the world, all without having to leave your chair. In the video description, you'll find links to additional resources on SSH tunneling and VNC to help you get the most out of your setup. We've made some important changes to our VM setup. We've corrected the video memory and graphics controller selections. As a result, your VM setup is now free from any invalid settings. This ensures a smoother and more effective installation process, allowing you to proceed with confidence. Alright, now we're ready to get started. First, we're going to generate a private public key pair for SSH authentication using the PuTTY key generator program. This method is more secure and convenient than a simple login password combination. Make sure to save the private key in a secure location on your computer desktop and copy the public key for later use. Next, start the virtual machine, VM, and log into the system using the PuTTY application. In PuTTY, set the address as localhost, which is equivalent to 127.0.0.1, and use port number 63022 for SSH, the standard port 22. At this stage, we'll be using login credentials because the setup for SSH key-based authentication isn't complete yet. This might be the last time we'll need to use the login password combo. Once you've logged into the system, open the .ssh/authorized_keys file using the 6 text editor and paste the public key into it. Save the file and set its permissions to 640 using the chmod command. For the .ssh directory, set the mode to 700. Now, log out from the system and log back in using PuTTY. This time, it will work with key-based authentication. Nice! You might have noticed that during authentication, it asks for a login name. You can avoid this by modifying PuTTY and adding the login name. However, during DNF update, it may still ask for a password. To avoid this, you can remove the password for the account. But remember to restore it at the appropriate time or modify the SSH configuration for mandatory and exclusive key-based authentication, otherwise, your system might become unsecured. Using the DNF package manager, install HTTPD, Myriad, PHP, and Cockpit to prepare the system for web hosting. Additionally, install Server with GUI, it can save a lot of time and trouble. While a graphical user interface, GUI, may not be required all the time for hosting, it can be incredibly helpful for debugging and resolving server issues. Since we need a VNC server, let's also install the Tiger VNC server. Make sure you start various services such as Myriad server and HTTPD. Also, reconfigure the firewall for HTTPS and HTTP services. Now, we're diving into the world of SSH, tunneling with PuTTY, configuring ports like 80 for HTTP and 9090 for Cockpit. To check our configurations for Cockpit and HTTP, you can open the Firefox browser and visit http://127.0.0.1 to 49090/ for Cockpit and http://127.0.0.1 to 43080/ for the website. Thank you for joining us in Volume 2 of our video series. We've covered a lot of ground, and now it's time to wrap up this chapter. Our basic web server is ready for customization and can host a real website. But keep in mind, these days, HTTPS is the default protocol due to security concerns. If you plan to host your site on the internet, you must configure your server for HTTPS. SSL certification and domain names are essential topics, though they are not covered in this video. To enhance server security, Consider implementing strict SSHD configuration and using fail2ban for protection. We have a separate video on fail2ban that you can check out, see the link in the description. Also, remember that the firewall is your friend, it helps to restrict open ports and services. With SSH tunneling, you can access internal services as needed, making some ports redundant for the firewall. In the near future, we'll be releasing more videos on topics like WordPress and Drupal-based websites with MariaDB databases. Stay tuned.